Good afternoon, CSU Global. Since most of you don't know me, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Brad Schiffelbein. I am your current CSU Global student representative for the CSU System Board of Governors. I am currently getting ready to start the master's program in organizational leadership, and I just finished up the bachelor's program. For anyone who has any questions on the CSU system or the Board of Governors, you can log on to csusystem.edu, or you can just send me an email at brad.schiffelbein@csuglobal.edu, and I'll try as best as I can to answer your questions, and if not, I will send them on to the appropriate person. Part of my role as student representative for the CSU system is to formulate a report of all the changes that are going on with the students at CSU Global and present them to the Board of Governors. At today's meeting, I presented 3 changes that are just finished taking place at CSU Global, and I wanted to share them with you today so you had more transparency and insight into what I am passing on to the Board of Governors. The first of these 3 is that CSU Global has integrated new technology that will be used for transcript review. The new technology implementation allows for automatic scanning and recording of transcript information for both bachelor's and master's degree seeking students. This allows for faster and more accurate transcript assessments and will facilitate and increase transparency and student understanding of what is to be expected upon enrollment into the university. The second is the establishment of the Student Veterans Organization. This took place just this last November. The Student Veterans Organization is a way for veterans to network not only with other students here at CSU Global who are also veterans, but also to network with veterans across the country who are part of this organization. It is available at no charge to participating CSU Global students who are veterans, and is one of the first Student Veteran Association's online chapters. CSU Global's Student Veterans Organization is now part of Student Veterans Association's national network of affiliates. So if you have any questions on the Student Veterans Organization, just send me an email. I will answer your questions as best as I can, and if I can't, I will send them on to the appropriate person. And the final thing is the most obvious change with CSU Global, and that's the new student portal that just rolled out. Now, this new student portal functions as a one-stop location for students to access anything they need to with their coursework. You can access your courses, degree audit information. You can access university contact information, including your advisor and your financial aid advisor. You can access your email directly from the portal, and you can access the student library, which has a ton of learning resources to help you in your coursework. There were 3 things that I highlighted in today's presentation about the changes to the portal that I personally felt were enormous in helping students advance their learning opportunities. The first of these 3 is the change to the discussion boards. As most of you who've been with CSU Global for a while know, to get feedback on your discussion boards, you had to go to your grade book where you could get the small amount of feedback and your grade. The way that this has changed is you get feedback directly in the discussion board module. It'll show you how many words you've typed and to who you've typed and how you've interacted essentially with your fellow classmates and your instructors. And as well as you can get your grades directly in this discussion board feedback. The second thing that I feel is of great benefit to students is the plagiarism checks that are now available when you submit your papers. Before, we only had the option of submitting our papers for the final grade, and now we have the opportunity to submit our papers for a plagiarism check. Now, the APA guidelines can sometimes be a little difficult, and trying to get the right amount of source to authentic content in your paper can be difficult as well, and the plagiarism check will actually take a couple of minutes and it'll shoot back out a report on how your paper is, whether you need to make changes, how you need to make changes, or whether it's good to go. As working students, we all know how we can get busy at work or at home with our families, and sometimes our papers can lack a little bit. We'll write them at the last minute, or we'll do really well and we'll start them really early, but then we get busy and we have to be in a rush to get those submitted. Well, this plagiarism check gives us a kind of second look and make sure that we're getting all of our sources properly in our papers. And finally, the student orientation has changed at CSU Global with the new portal. When I first started with CSU Global, the student orientation was actually a class that we took with our coursework. It was 3 weeks long, and we had discussion boards and course modules, and this gave us an entire overview of everything that we needed to know about being a student at CSU Global. The way this has changed is the orientation has actually moved to where it's now a web page that is accessed off of the student portal. And the great thing about this web page is you can access any particular topic that you want to look at in the orientation tab, whether it be APA guidelines, student policy, coursework policies, anything that you want to refresh on is in this orientation tab. The great thing about this is everybody, students, all the students who have been there or new students, everyone has access to this information for as long as you are at CSU Global. As opposed to when you first started at CSU Global, you would have the orientation class, and then you wouldn't be enrolled in that class anymore, so you didn't necessarily have direct access to that information. So essentially that was everything that I presented today to the Board of Governors. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Just send me an email and I will try to answer them as best as I can, and if not, I will send them to the appropriate person. One of the things that I would like to do with the student representative position is get as much feedback from all of you, my fellow classmates, as I can. Anything that you would like to see happen at CSU Global, from changes, ways to improve, things you don't like. If you just give me that feedback on what you would like to see happen with CSU Global, and I will take a look at that and discuss it with the appropriate people, and we will try to formulate a game plan to addressing all of your issues or things that you like or anything of that nature. So I would like to really get a good dialogue going between all of you and get a lot of student participation. I understand being working students, a lot of times we don't have a lot of time to log on and do our coursework, so adding in another way to communicate with your classmates can be a little bit harder to do because we are working adults. But any feedback is appreciated, and we will take a look at it and report back to you on it. I hope to send out a video recapping pretty much every board meeting that I attend to, and we'll go from there. So everyone have a great rest of your terms and a happy holidays.